was at his very best. He was a fleet-footed half forward.
So here we go. Arch enemies, Essendon versus Hawthorn.
Good jumps, play on.
And Renoff got the first tap.
Play on, knock it out.
Good tackle by Lovett Murray on Shields, I think it was.
Held to him, no chance.
And a secondary bounce. Here's Buddy and Hooker having a bit of a early dance. Razor Ray straight on the job there. Renoff the tap taken by Welsh. Handballs over to Stanton. Puts it long and fast inside 50. And the roving is Ladson. Now Guerra puts him under the hammer, back to Ladson. Punches out the handball to Birchall. Tough one at the toes. He's held up by Lonigan. Will have a bounce.
Well, a good sign there. 3 Essendon players put the tackle on.
Let him up. Let him up now.
Elwyn Davey, one of them, Wolsey, and he's a player they added to the side because of their lack of forward pressure last week.
Matthew Lloyd's arrived in the commentary box, had the arm well and truly tucked in as he came in. Might have been the evil glare I gave him, or that Stephen Quartermain gave him. We'll have another ball up, half forward.
You got a lovely
pressing
on cheer squad, Tim.
It was an eerie feeling down there, quarters.
Renoff back in the team after being a very late withdrawal last week. So another ball up, so it's being played in close early.
Fletcher's got the job on Roughhead. I like that. He needs to have a responsible job. He's a wonderful player, of course. 318 games for Essendon, but he needs responsibility in this young Essendon side.
Again, Renoff first hand of the ball, but there's no takeaway, and so a third ball up pretty much on the same spot.
The third X factor for the Hawks is Cyril Rioli, and the Bombers have gone to their stopper, Henry Slattery, to play on Rioli.
Renoff the tap. And yet another stoppage. Umpire waving the arm, says, try and get it out, boys. Now it comes out. Stanton to Lovett Murray. Tackled by Brown. Good, hard, fair tackle.
Line, good tackle. Straight up, Campbell. Good work. Great tackle.
Campbell Brown playing in the forward line. Mark McVeigh, his opponent. So this will be a very interesting contest.
Lewis. It's almost rugby union at the moment. See if you can get it out, Tim.
Well, there's been a bit of this weekend, hasn't there? And it's been quite a talking point. Let's hope it opens up a little. Stanton prizes it out by foot. Guerra a hand onto it. Zaharakis, been Essendon's leading goal kicker for the year so far. Murphy playing him close. In fact, nobody being given a millimetre at the moment. Guerra looked like escaping, but couldn't get a clean kick. Lovett Murray, Davey, he'll inject some speed for the Dons. Couldn't find a way in. Watson, McVeigh, Brown's opponent, delivers well. And Stanton is out at the 50, kicking from just outside it. And it is testing range for him. He gives it everything, but just hooks it, as they so often do when the distance is the big test.
They do, Tim, but a really positive start from the Bombers. It's been all played in their half of the 50 in the first 5 minutes. They did that against the Pies last week, so you just got to take your chances early.
Particularly Stanton, who's had 4 disposals, as Guerra's short one finds Lewis. Now he's got a loose man at half back, and it's Caleb Thompson, mature age rookie. Short one off to Shields, and that's a good pass to Brown. He's got a handball on in Osborne. He decides to kick to him, and he'll go back and have a shot. Should have a shot from there. He's only about 40 metres out at worst. Very kickable.
Essendon set up an 18-man zone for the Hawthorn kick-in. Hawthorn got the footy, and their zone was cut to pieces on that forward thrust.
So one of the Cleo Bachelor of the Year nominations. 4 goals this season in his 4 matches, and that's a perfect kick. Hawks on the ball.
It's the efficiency of the Hawks. The Bombers have gone inside 53 times, and you see here Mark McVeigh's opponent, Campbell Brown, gets him out the back, and Osborne, who's worked off Heath Hocking, also got out the back of the 18-man zone, and can't afford to let that happen. The pressure up the ground for the Bombers has got to be far greater.
A handsome kick, Tim.
Cleo material, that. First blood to the Hawks, and a sweet moment for Campbell Brown. McVeigh, a reasonably provocative match-up on him after all the talk, and Brown was able to escape and set up the goal. But now it's the Bombers' turn to escape. Winderlich played that well to himself. Brave stuff. Oh, he gave the chance to Hurley. Needed to be clean. His confidence is down at the moment. Prismal takes it away from goal. To Welsh and to Lonigan from a long way. The big load, the long bomb, the Bombers first. It was a beauty. A mighty kick from outside 50. A good build-up right from the start at the centre play.
And Patrick Ryder hasn't been in the best of form. Either is this man, Jason Winderlich, and he is as important to Essendon's side as anyone just because he's got the run and carry. So it's great to see him in the midfield, but great signs to see Patrick Ryder jumping all over the top of Renouf. I reckon 3 of the first 4 tap-outs, he's been all over him. So fantastic signs from those 2 players.
Second goal of the season for Sam Lonigan, playing match number 3. So that's what Ryder can do with this bounce. This time it's won by the Hawks, taken by Sewell, who pumps it long and fast to Franklin and Roughhead. Fletcher went for the big swipe. Hooker, good tackle by Franklin, drives him into the turf.
Thanks. I'll have it. Hey.
James Hird looks on. Roughhead will have a go at this in the ruck.
Play on at the bump.
Slattery.
Play on.
Roughhead on the bottom of that. And with another bounce. 45 out from the Hawks goal.
Interesting that the Bombers set up. They've got all their players forward of centre, all working in defence, trying to help out. They've got runners working back as the Hawks did previous.
Ryder reaching over Renouf again. Bateman went through hard, but Hocking bulldozes it out. Straight to Gillen though, and it's going to come back and come back quickly. Caleb Thompson is a left footer. He's a neat user of the ball, although that wasn't his best. Franklin caught behind, didn't help, and Buddy does well to break even in the end. And it's all in pretty good fun at the moment, but it could develop into something at some point, you feel, in this early part. Chance for an Essendon takeaway. Prismal getting it out to Lonigan. Hurley now, that was a good collect, that was better. Monfries gives it back to him. Not much to go to up forward, but he had Zaharakis playing in front and he doesn't let him down. The Bombers can build again.
Early touches to Hurley are good for the Bombers. It'll get the young fella's confidence up.
Short and sideways to Prismal.
You're on the mark.
And he in turn goes short to Winderlich. Now another lead comes. And it's Monfries. Back to Winderlich. So slowly but surely for the Bombers as they work it to the 50. Mark taken by McVeigh. He'll get it moving quickly, stabs the pass, but unfortunately for Essendon, it's a poor one. It's cut off by Brown.
He's kicked it to his direct opponent. Essendon supporters booing Brown.
Here's Rioli. Can Slattery get there? No, he can't. Rioli's off. Great leg speed and a beautiful kick out into space. Running onto it is Sewell. He's got Franklin in support, but he bangs it on the left, and that's a poor option straight down the throat of Lovett Murray.
And Fletcher is loose. And so is Welsh, so the Bombers can carry it at least to the 50 without any incident. And now into the corridor. Prismal, a little poke forward. McVeigh, oh, that was untidy. Fletcher has space, and as ever, he's a safe pair of hands. Back to Prismal now, out on the southern wing, with the Hawks getting numbers back and the Bombers having to think hard about it. Flat kick from Prismal, bit of a miscue, and the Hawks look to have it covered. White Cross under some pressure, and Rioli likewise. Bateman did it well, got himself in really hard. Now Caleb Thompson under the pump. Hocking's got him. Hocking bleeding. The first blood of the night's been drawn, and Hocking won't be able to take the free kick. In fact, he's had a blood nose for the last couple of minutes, and he's in a hurry to get off.
Well, he did well to earn the free kick. Good tackle.
One stat that concerns me for the Hawks is one query is their running, their leg speed across the ground. The Bombers have had 13 handball receives, the Hawks just 5. So Sewell, Hodge, you admire them, where they need to get, I reckon, Clinton, Young, Birchall and those types running the lines.
So Winderlich takes the kick and goes short. He telegraphed that one Fortunate for the Bombers, they get it back. Fletcher kicks long and wide to the wing. Monfries will get there first. Brown closing. The man playing on Franklin, Matthew Lloyd, is Cale Hooker. What sort of a player is he?
He's a sensational athlete, a really good competitor. I think what he's got to do is just nullify Franklin, not worry about getting the ball himself tonight, because if he can keep him under 4, they'd be really happy with that.
Watson covering the ball with his body pack forming. Eventually the Bombers do emerge. Lonigan's been good. McVeigh has it again for Essendon. Thought about it, placed it well. Gumbleton arriving hard, but he had about 3 in front of him, and Lewis comes away with it to Whitecross. And now for Osborne wide. Atkinson trying to corral him. Good to see Atkinson back. He's a runner for Essendon, very quick. So is this man Dempsey, combining with Atkinson out there. And this is a promising move for the Dogs. He uses his pace.
Free kick off the ball. It's a free kick to Hurley. Hurley held.
30 out straight in front. So a real goal scoring chance for the Dogs.
Umpire McLaren right onto it, Tim. And he blew the whistle and screamed out. Hurley was held. Gillum, his opponent.
50 metres, Rob. Stephen Gillum talking to umpire Scott McLaren. Didn't like what he heard.
Let's have a look at it. Caught him around the neck.
And it's the pressure of quick movement, quick runners, players who use the ball effectively. Dempsey and Atkinson, and now Hurley finishes the job with the Bombers' second goal.
You're spot on, Tim. I think the previous inside 50, we saw Gumbleton and Hurley crash into each other. I think last week we didn't really see any options, so you'd rather see two, your centre forward, full forward, crash into each other, wanting the football. And then you're right, Courtney Dempsey, he had 2 to consider. He split him in half, got the ball moving forward, and the pressure was too much on the Hawks.
So let's have a look at the free kick again to Michael Hurley. Arm around the throat. And spotted by umpire McLaren. And then the 50 metres. So an easy goal for Michael Hurley. It's the Bombers by 7 points. In this crucial game for both teams. For the loser, it's just about curtains in season 2010, even though we're only up to round 6. Essendon work it forward again. Zaharakis. Lonigan. Keeps the footy alive into the forward pocket. Murphy under the palm ball. He's gone for the boundary line. He's been pinged for holding the ball.
Time on. Scott Gumbleton.
So Gumbleton's got the free kick. Very, very difficult angle.
Just while we wait for this shot for goal quarters, we worry about the ruckman, Brett runoff. It's 7 clearances to 1. So already they are dominating the midfield, and it's worrying signs for the Hawks.
Gumbleton kicks around the corner. It's a beauty. Great banana from Scotty Gumbleton, and the Bombers get their third, and they're out to a 13-point lead.
Well, again, coming from a centre clearance, and the clearances are 7-1 in favour of the Bombers. Early stages of this first quarter just got off to a terrific start. Is he a good kick, Lloydie? I've just seen him with the double-handed drop, but he's done this well with the boomerang from the boundary line.
He has. He's a confidence player, Wolsey. He's a real nervous type, and his confidence that he got out of Anzac Day last week, I reckon he's in for a big one tonight. He's a workhorse.
His kicking has been questioned in these early weeks of the season, but gee, he got a spin on that banana kick. That was the perfect execution. The Bombers have won the clearance again. The signs are good for Essendon. They're very worrying for Hawthorn. Murphy stripped of the ball. Lonigan, Gumbleton. Here go the Bombers again. Monfries, Watson, Stanton and Dempsey with the left foot, blazing and not quite carrying it home. Terrific build-up, inexorable pressure though from Essendon, who have started like a shot out of a gun.
Oh, beautifully done by Welsh. 1 against 3. Tapped it to a teammate in Atkinson, who got it back to Welsh. Welsh inside 50, but turns it over. The Hawks under all sorts of pressure. They might cough it up again here. That's a free kick going against Davey.
Gee, they're playing fast footy, the Bombers, playing on it every opportunity.
They've got a sniff already, haven't they, Rob?
Yeah, and it looks good. It's exciting. They've worried the Hawks' speed is killing the Hawks at the moment. They just need to get a bit of control of the football, Hawthorn, even if they play a bit of keepings off for a couple of minutes.
Caleb Thompson to Young, nothing to kick to, so he handballs to himself. Looks slow, the Hawks at the moment. Atkinson's there. Hawks hold it up. Now handball comes to Caleb Thompson. Fed it out to Osborne, who kicks to Franklin, who gets it on the second bite. And he's within range, but he's about 55 metres out, but this is well within his reach.
Gee, they need a goal just to settle, just to slow the tempo down. Take your time, because it's helter-skelter football at the moment, and Essendon dominating. The clearances are 8-1 in the Bombers' favour.
Lance Franklin converting it exactly 50% this year. 7 goals, 7. And that's a point.
And Rob, we saw Rioli get his first possession for the match. I think he's one player that they've got to get into the midfield, and I'd get him in there as quick as possible just to add that pace and skill. That's what the Hawks need.
Bombers doing it well, leading by 13 points and full of promise and attack in the early part. Under some pressure here, though. Guerra makes the steal. He's a good kick, but he just curled it too much. It's another miss by the Hawks. But at least it's a start after the Bombers were threatening to blow them away in this first quarter.
Kick in towards Fletcher. Good one-on-one with Rufford, who claims the mark. Umpire says no. Now the bottom of all that is Hooker to Hill. And Fletcher, great experience, sees the ball safely over the line. Fletcher coming off for a spell.
Well, David Hill into the ruck, and Paddy Ryder's pushed to the full forward line.
Hill, the tap went straight down the throat of Bateman, who throws it on the left, but only as far as Stanton, who'll switch quickly. And here's an opportunity for the Bombers.
Monfries down the back, gets it on to Dyson, and they're working well along this southern wing, and again Dempsey's the target, but Hodge arrives with a big fist.
Just want to highlight Prismal in the back pocket there. He started the game really well, leading the possessions with 7 on the ground, but this was what they did last week. They held on to the footy, whereas they started the game by foot. They don't want to start over handballing again tonight.
Hill rucking now for Ryder, as Rob mentioned. Now Stanton swings it high, not a great delivery that. Ellis up in front, horrible ball to be under. And the Bombers are pressing again. Hurley getting it inside to Winderlick, and it'll be relayed to Winderlick.
Got a problem, the Bombers. They've got Slattery in the back pocket on Roughhead at the moment. He's desperately trying to get someone taller on the job.
He's waited that for Prismal, who just couldn't quite hang on. Murphy been under pressure every time he's got it. Shields and Schoenmakers for Hawthorn, but arriving hard. McVeigh gave Essendon a chance. Osborne, Dempsey in again, been outstanding early, but well lassoed this time by Renoff. But the Bombers still prevail. Lonigan, the Ryder was led to the ball, and it's Stratton's ball for the Hawks in the last line.
Short one to Birchall, who pops it over the top to Murphy. He's got a loose man on the wing in Lewis.
Gee, Slattery's still on Roughhead.
Lewis goes to Young, who's got some room to move here. He's got a thumping left boot. He ignores the lead from Franklin, who gets bowled over. He goes low, and there is what you were talking about, Rob. And you spotted it 2 minutes ago.
Well, Slattery, he knew he was... it was a mismatch, and Matty Knights can't believe it. He's saying, what the hell's going on? Why have I got a little bloke on a big bloke? Well, Fletcher came off. And Slattery pushed back because no one else had taken responsibility.
He's not in good kicking form, Jared Roughhead, converting at 54%, and that is an unforgivable miss from a forward. That is just a shocker, really. He's lost all confidence, Matthew.
He has, and his run-up actually looked a bit better there, but he's pulled the ball across his body, and yeah, that's a terrible miss, unforgivable, as you said.
Stanton for the Bombers. Now here's Ryder coming a long way up the ground, just not quite hanging onto it. Monfries taken high. So it's the Bombers' ball again. It's an exciting first quarter after a stop-start opening. Really settling into a rhythm now, and we have a game. Guerra keeping it alive, did well, and did very well. Goes for Rioli. Wanted to run on, just wasn't sure that it was going to be profitable. Not enough carry to Roughhead. How's he snap shooting? No better than the set shot. It stayed alive. Slattery's got to make sure he doesn't mess it up now. And this is Atkinson. It's good to see him back. How's the kick? Prismal trying to make it good. Bateman down. Was he pushed? Thought he might have been. The umpire didn't. Ladson prizing it out for the Hawks.
Play on, it's out. Play on, still moving.
There's got to be a ball up.
Now it's locked in. Not have to happen.
Fletcher is still off, and now the matchup on Roughhead is Hocking. I reckon they're obviously short an extra tall because no pairs there, and Fletcher on the bench. It's a worry.
Look it out.
And I'd love to ask Howie. We saw Michael Hurley come off. Paul Wise, the Essendon physio, has been out there. Howie, do you know if there's any injury to Michael Hurley early in the match?
Lloyd, he looks like he's got a concern with the right ankle. He's going down to the rooms now, mate. Right ankle.
So Fletcher back on. Hill the tap. Prismal has a dive at it. And that's a free kick in the back. Going Essendon's way. And it's going to be taken by Welsh. He gives it off to Winderlich. Who kicks to Hill, who's got some space in the middle of the MCG. Good running too. Beautiful running from Hocking. Long left boot inside. Essendon's attacking 50. Hawks have the extra man in Stratton. And he won the football to Murphy. Kicks to half-back. Looking for Young.
Been a real positive start from the Bombers, but Matty Knight's absolutely savage. There's an inside 50 here, and Paddy Ryder playing behind. He's come as a rest, but Matty Knight's filthy with that. Forwards have got to be in front.
Quarter well developed now. Next goal's a big one. Watson releasing Stanton, and Davey within range. He's hooked the kick though, out near the behind post. Disappointing result for the Dons.
How quick
It's
was
on.
the handball?
Boys, sorry to interrupt. Luke Hodge just having a bit, the emergency umpire out there as well. Just having a bit of a dust up with Lovett Murray. Wouldn't want to get in the middle of that
Come
one.
on, how are you jumping at shadows? There was nothing in it.
I don't know about that, Tim.
Well, Rioli just went without the football. A lucky break there for Essendon. Oh, he was away, Rioli too. Oh, Birchall goes hard against Stanton. Rioli gets it back, gives a handball off to Bateman. Now he's got Franklin on the lead. Good spoil, great spoil by Hooker. Dempsey having a brilliant first quarter, kicks into the middle. Backing himself with Stratton, but he lost a handle on the football. Watson's kick's not flash. Murphy got clean bowled, should have done better. Handball comes to Monfries. Monfries now runs to 48. He shoots for goal and drills it.
Murphy's Law prevailing in the Hawthorn back half.
It's not good enough. It is just not good enough for an AFL player to let the ball get through you, get down at ankle level and get past you like that. You're just handing the opposition goals.
Bombers lead by 18 points. Here's what preceded it. A tangle between Nathan Lovett-Murray and Luke Hodge.
Thomas Murphy letting that ball get through him is just a sin in football. For a bloke who's played 55 league games, he just doesn't earn the games that he gets, in my opinion.
Hodge double play in there, trying to get it out to Lewis, then having to go back and atone for the Hawks.
Knocked out, and then it got knocked back towards him.
So pressure on the Hawthorn defence, and Murphy making an error there that let the Bombers in for their fourth. Leading by 3 goals. Again, right of the tap, but again, Hodge able to take possession for Hawthorn. Hooker in the way. Stanton, Winderlich. Essendon's pace through the midfield, hurting Hawthorn. Hocking, Lovett-Murray, Stanton, away they go again. Watson back to Stanton. This is a great build-up. Not a well-placed kick, but Hill arrives. Just about got it over Gillum. Davey missed.
Joe Watson handball so quick and slick. He's had 6 disposals, 5 of them handballs.
If the Bombers can get their kicking efficiency going tonight, They are on, I reckon, because Stanton's in the game with 12 disposals. Winderlick, who hasn't had a great start to the year, had 10. Prismal 7. So their key ball winners are getting plenty of it.
Gee, they're making the Hawks look slow, aren't they, Rob?
They are. That's the thing that stands out to me, Quarters. Essendon playing on at every opportunity, trying to use the corridor whenever they can, and being fleet-footed, and the Hawks look terribly slow.
Gillum kicks to Murphy. Kicks well to Brown, who marks on the members' wing. Handballs over the top to Ellis. His handball is not a good one to Osborne. So the Bombers lead by 19 points.
Clearances in the match, 11-3, just showing the dominance. Even in this boundary throw-in, Paddy Wright, he's been all over Renouf early in the match.
Red off the tap. Winderlick gets there first. Sewell, now Brown. Now Caleb Thompson on his wrong side. And he should have gone short to Franklin. He blazed away and put it out of bounds on the full.
And he gets a blast from Buddy Franklin, and rightfully so.
So the Bombers ball, Hooker to take it in the last line. Essendon's quarter. Emphatically so far. 19-point lead. The Hawks, if they could pull a couple back, could be very well pleased. Their start hasn't been good.
Put it to ground, Slattery's free kick.
Free kick to the Bombers. It's going their way.
Kick.
Campbell Brown in there. Now, Lloydie, I've got to ask you, when you look at him out there huffing and puffing, do you wish you were there?
He's one player that his eyes do roll, Tim, so maybe not tonight.
He wishes you were there. There's no doubt about that. Here are the Hawks. Slattery, though, to close the door on them. Watson there as well. And in his 100th, he's made an inspiring start. Fletcher gives it back to him. Well played by the Bombers. The hardheads holding it together. Bounce beat Rioli. McVeigh's got him. Brought him down from behind. Just about a push. It works out for the Dons. Dyson, Zaharakis, too far out. Move it on quickly. There aren't many in there. He goes very wide. And Whitecross sees it over for the Hawks.
Here's the head slam by Campbell Brown. That's the one the umpires and the rules committee are trying to take out of the game when the player doesn't have the ball in his hands.
Hill against Renouf. Renouf the tap, but no one in particular. Taken by Hill, who has a ping at the goals. It's across the face for a throw-in. Leading stat getters in the match. Stanton's got a dozen already. Winderlick 10 for the Hawks. Guerra leads away with 6 as Birchall has a spell.
Let's see if Gillum comes over the top. He did it the last boundary throw-in, and he set himself again.
He taps it to himself. Put the handball away to Stratton. Ladson, good tackle. Davey, yes, threaded it through. Bombers get their 5th.
Yeah, Renouf, he's coming off the ground now. He's been totally dominated, whether it's by jumping or by physical size, and it's a worry when Gillum, the backman, has to come. His man's going to be somewhere there. The pressure, nowhere to go. Rick Ladson, fantastic. Welsh, his strength is his tackling, and Davey, great for his confidence to kick a goal because his pressure's been enormous early in the forward 50. You look here, it's why the Bombers love Andrew Welsh in their side. He's a ferocious tackler, and this man, he's been working pretty hard, whether it's by pressure or by getting front and squaring to deserve that goal.
Well, this, on current indications, threatens to be a shellacking. The Hawks are in deep trouble already. Desperate for a goal before the end of the quarter. And here goes Hodge. He's the man to lift them, and he just didn't quite get the contact he wanted, and Hooker's done well on Franklin, and he holds it up. Oh, Franklin didn't hold him up. He put him on the deck in no uncertain terms. It's a behind.
Just Luke Hodge's 4th disposal for the quarter. Andrew Welsh doing a run with tagging job on him.
Yes, and signs of frustration there for Lance Franklin. As Fletcher kicks the ball to himself and pumps it long. Working his way to the front is Ryder, no mark. Slattery can't get a kick away. Ladson to Caleb Thompson, who drills it long. Franklin one out wrestling with his opponent. Here's Roughhead. There's another go at it. Threw it out in the end. Shields against Prismal. Now picked up by Lovett Murray to Watson. Beautiful hands again to Fletcher, to Winderlich. Back to Prismal. Missed the target. Coming into the picture now is Bateman. Tough angle. Kicks the banana and hits the posts. Not much going right for the Hawks at the moment. It's the Bombers by 23.
There's very little confidence and cohesion in their play. Essendon, though, just by dint of effort and commitment to the cause, have kicked 5 goals. We wondered before the night who was going to kick them, but if you play well enough up the ground, they just tend to happen, and that's been the story. And the Bombers have got the footy again, and it's Gumbleton, who has been a ray of hope in the early part of this season, which hasn't unfolded as Essendon fans have been hoping. Long high ball. Ladson, Schoenmakers taken high. Free kick, but it's all over for the first stanza, and it has been won hands down by the Bombers. They lead by 23 points, Matthew Lloyd.
Yeah, Tim, the Hawks hit back in that last 5 minutes, evening up the inside 50s, but the games are won or lost in the midfield, and the Bombers have been
He'd come over the top of the 2 ruckman. Didn't make much sense. Meant the Hawks were a player short once the ball hit the deck.
The Hawks kicked the first goal of the night. The Bombers have kicked 5 unanswered, dominating the first term. Hawthorn in deep trouble early, and not really showing the resources to turn it around. But one can be proven wrong.
It's been good for the Bombers to have Watson, Welsh, Lovett, Murray in at the centre bounce. Clearances 14-5 Essendon's way.
So Watson's ball goes to Gumbleton. What a sure pair of hands.
He has got a great pair of hands, and he also is in the best 5 for endurance at the Essendon Footy Club. Runs with the midfielders.
Stratton, his opponent, inexperienced player. Gumbleton out gunning in there. Goes for Hurley. Monfrey's down. Lovett Murray's quick and skilled and pretty cool. He waited. He played the waiting game a little too long. Ladson giving it off. Stratton poking it to Brown and Guerra on his non-preferred side. Franklin down the back, roped it in nicely. Now Sewell, whose kicking has been a little off in his comeback. Slattery getting the fist away, but then accidentally made high contact to Rioli, but they all count.
Yeah, it was a lucky free kick indeed for Cyril Rioli. But the Hawks will take anything they get at the moment as Fletcher off the ball knocks over 2 Hawks. And the Bombers get it back. McVeigh, what's he going to do with it? Decides the long option, and that's
held the arm.
Unnecessarily done by Murphy, really. Just a silly hold on Zaharakis and gives away a cheap free kick. Bateman getting some treatment off the ball. Zaharakis goes long and working his way to the front as well. So that should be a free kick, umpire.
Well, Campbell Brown absolutely crunched him.
He did, and the umpire was right there, McLaren.
No, that's got to be it. I thought McLaren had played it. He hasn't.
He hasn't, no.
It was obvious to the world it was a hit.
Umpire McLaren was right there in perfect posse.
Put his mouth to the whistle and did nothing.
So lucky break there for the Hawks. As Bateman's recovered, gives it to Ladson. Franklin works his opponent under the ball. Here's a chance for Franklin. Gets the bounce, kicks for goal and misses. Well, we saw him do that in the warm-up, Matthew, about 10 times for about 9 goals, but he missed that one.
Let's have a look at this at the other end. Scott McLaren in perfect position.
Gee.
Whack.
Well, I reckon both that. Hodgie got him in the back of the ear roll as well.
Well, that's a remarkable omission.
Come on, umpire, get fair income.
We saw James Hurd in the crowd. I wonder what he would have made of Scott McLaren's failure to pick that up. Dyson's ball in the back pocket for the Dons. Long kick searching for Ryder, who gave away a free kick, but, well, it shouldn't be a free kick for a push in the back because Brown actually marked it a couple of metres forward of where the infringement occurred. But anyway, Brown receives the hand pass, and Fletcher will get the free kick, I reckon. Thank goodness for Ray Chamberlain bringing some sanity to the situation. Fletcher to Watson. Away go the Bombers again. They're liking the corridor. Lonigan kicked the goal to get them kick-started. Davies been dangerous. Back to Lonigan. They've got themselves into trouble. Hocking to Monfries. They're out of trouble. Hurley, 60 out. 2 on 2 in the 50. Swings it high. He's after Gumbleton. It hasn't reached him, though. Guerra covers it. Just has to kick and hope that there's someone there, and there is. It's Osborne under some pressure, and a canny little kick from Michael Osborne. That was beautifully played. He had absolutely no one but himself, and in the end it's helped over for the Hawks by Shields, but really they are just battling to stay afloat.
Early in the quarter, early in this second quarter,
No, it wasn't Fletcher.
you can just see that the two Hawks have just crunched into each other. Makes you think it's not their night.
Throw in. Renouf will get there first.
You're right, Tim, though. The Bombers, Michael Osborne did the best he could there. He had absolutely nothing to kick to. Just shows the Bombers are covering the ground far better. And if you watched them last week compared to this week, their game style is absolutely fantastic with the way they're running and kicking the football.
There's no doubt Ryder's to do the ruck work. Ryder does the ruck work early in the quarter, then Hill comes on. The two Essendon ruckmen should be able to really work Renouf over.
Mark Howard.
Yeah, been keeping an eye on Michael Hurley. That's his first contest after he was back out in the ground. You can see he's limping around. The doctor's been out 2 or 3 times. He's staying out there, but it doesn't look right, boys.
Saul at the bottom of the pack. He's all wrapped up by Lovett Murray, and the umpires pinged him.
You tell Lydia what a keen Hawthorn fan you are, Howie?
No, we didn't discuss any of that, Tim. Very neutral down here.
Lovett Murray handballs to Prismal. Here's the lead from Hurley. That'll test the ankle or the knee, and he did it well. They can ill afford to lose Hurley. We'll just leave them with one tall up forward in Gumbleton. Hurley to Prismal. Squares the kick, and Roughhead's got his name written all over this one. But he's a long, long way from goal, Tim.
Yes, he and Buddy both having to work up the ground. He goes for Bateman. Hocking's got him in a sleeper hold, and it's over the line. Bateman wasn't so sure, but there will be a throw in, and it's pretty much right on the wing.
Well, Big Buddy, just 3 disposals, no goals. Hooker doing a good job.
So still no goal in the quarter. Essendon by 22 points, but Hawthorn needing something to get them started here. Osborne just having a little air swing there. Essendon tying them up. Lonigan working very hard. Lovett Murray, and the Bombers bring it away nicely. Winderlick's hand pass. Bounce not compliant for Stanton, but eventually to Fletcher. And he places it well for Slattery. Rioli got a fist in on it. McVeigh there, but so's Campbell Brown. Bangs it back for the Hawks. Now they need some Franklin magic, but in fact they get some Fletcher stone wall.
Yeah, he handballs off to Hooker, who gives it to McVeigh. Measures the kick to Gumbleton. That could be a free kick for a chop. No. Hurley, good hands to Welsh. Kicks to Zaharakis, who's got the sit on Murphy. And in the end, he marks uncontested. Murphy caught a couple of metres behind. And pretty comfortable mark inside forward 50. That's the way you like him. And Zaharakis will line up directly in front, only 30 metres out.
And the Hawks are going at 33% kicking efficiency, just butchering the ball all over the ground.
Zaharakis should kick this goal. He stabs at it, and he missed. I think it shaved the post, did it? Yep. Bad miss from David Zaharakis.
An escape for the Hawks, but for how long can they keep escaping? Gillam receives, gives to Sewell. Second game back, and really hasn't been able to make a mark yet. Roughhead was their hope, but Fletcher, although he got the foot under it, he's put it out on the full. So it's going to be Hawthorn's ball. But it's a long time between drinks for the Hawks. First goal came not many minutes into the match. There hasn't been another one since. Stabbing ball from Guerra to Stratton. Had White cross inside, but decides to go long to Hodge. Welsh quells him. Hocking in the way for the Bombers. Welsh again. Now McVeigh. And now there's space. And Slattery can advance for the Dons. Montfrey's on the lead. Guerra arriving. Good clean spoil. Now Murphy. Back to Guerra. Nice probing ball for Rioli. Slattery right with him. Great contest. And Rioli, so good one-on-one. Did it beautifully. Young from a long way. Time to load up on that long left. Franklin's on the end of it. The kick wasn't great from Young. It's put Franklin on a difficult angle, but at least he's well within range.
A little bit of magic, Cyril Rioli. Marking attempt out on the wing. Didn't take the mark, but brought it to ground. Super quick recovery.
So Hooker looking worried that he might run out on the right. Franklin is going to try and bend it with the left. And he does it beautifully, and the Hawks get their second.
Cyril Rioli, Rob, apart from Gary Ablett, I think he's the best player in the competition at keeping his feet. And good to see Clinton Young, a man who can carry the ball, and good forwards read the play in front of their defenders. Buddy read the kick better off the boot, and they needed that. They'd kicked 6 points on the trot, so a goal they desperately needed. Aside from Gary Ablett, this man is the best at keeping his feet in the competition. He was 2-on-1 against. He taps it out, gets Slattery off the ball, and sets up Clinton Young. He is amazing at just standing up.
And you got your wish, Lloydie. He's in at the centre bounce.
And Schoenmaker's in the ruck. Winderlich. It's the handball smothered, but he has another go at it. Hawthorn get it back. Schoenmaker's fed it out to Young. Here he is again. Puts the foot on the accelerator and drills it long, but there's a couple of Bombers in front of Franklin. And one of them is Slattery.
Go out, go out. Keep coming back, keep coming back. Thanks, mate.
Slattery to Winderlich. Good spoil by Rioli. But the spoils go to Watson, to Prismal. Back to Winderlich, who's really having a good game. Short one to Hill, and Winderlich has just kept on running. That's fantastic work from Jason Winderlich. Now he runs into a wall, but goes short and sideways, and it comes off, and it's marked by Welsh.
Bombers looking for the quick answer to Hawthorn's second goal. Here comes Fletcher. Not quite. Osborne to Roughhead, to Sewell. Just starting to get himself into this game. Here's Campbell Brown with McVeigh a step behind. Brown to Franklin was good for the Hawks. The goal unguarded. It is a mighty roost from Buddy. Oh, it's a line ball. It's there. He's done it. Inspired football from Franklin.
Well, it was just unbelievable, wasn't it? The Sewell kick into space. He really had nowhere to go. He's just bombed it to the half-forward flank. Cam Brown got there first. Quick handball to Buddy, and that was smart because it set Buddy up on his left foot. He's done the arc, wound up, saw the open goal square and said, I reckon I can go the distance. Slattery tried hard to get back there, did get back there, just over the line by centimetres. Buddy Franklin, 2 goals in 2 minutes. Campbell Brown gives the handball, sets Buddy up on the left foot. He goes for broke and just gets over the line with the desperate spoiling attempt by Slattery. Matty Knights can't believe it.
Schoenmakers against Hill. Hill comfortably to Watson. Couldn't get the ball away. Now Winderlich again against Rioli. Desperate stuff from Rioli. Good tackle by Schoenmakers, not rewarded. Ellis attacked it, but Winderlich again to Watson, to Dempsey. Now over to Stanton. He gives it to Dyson. Kicks inside 50. Ryder, beautiful mark. Just floated through the air and took it out in front of his face.
Well, they've started Paddy Ryder in the ruck, first quarter, second quarter. Then they put him into the forward line when Hill comes on.
Ricky Dyson, beautiful kick of the football, and Paddy Ryder is one of the better shots for goal at the club. The distance may test him, but in close range, he's a very good shot for goal.
3 goals in his 5 matches so far in 2010. So Paddy Ryder right on the 50. effortless kick, but he's dragged it to the left. Just a point. So Essendon lead by 2 straight kicks as Rioli has a breather.
And he's played a big part in getting Hawthorn back into this. They went 36 minutes between their first and second goals, but a third one followed within about 90 seconds. And Essendon haven't kicked one for the quarter, so the Hawks have actually got themselves back right in touch. White cross to Bateman, and now Schoenmakers. That's a bad kick. And a bad man to kick it to. Fletcher, he let that go. And his jumper was being held. Bad mistake.
Does he train hard, Dustin Fletcher, Lloydie?
He just does what he needs to, but the great thing about him is his speed. He hasn't lost.
Another long young ball in the Franklin direction. Had to get it onto his boot and did. And arrives to have another go. Ellis. Hawks pressing. Sensing opportunity. Ball up.
I sense what you're saying is Dustin Fletcher just does enough to get by. Why waste it on the training track?
He's an old-fashioned footballer, Rob. He comes out on weekends. That's when he's at his best.
Schoenmakers in the ruck isn't a bad move for the Hawks because he'll get some disposals around the ground, whereas Renault won't.
Hill tapped it to Watson, who's threaded his way through traffic. Oh, he just worked out the Bombers. Fortune favours the brave, and now they're off. Alvin Davey has a steadying bounce, and Ryder can go back and have a shot. Now he gives it off to Monfries. And here's a goal coming up to Hurley. Great play by Essendon. Well, that was the steady for the Bombers. Hurley's got 2. And that was just beautifully set up. Great transition from defence, Matthew Lloyd.
Joe Watson, he is just arguably the best clearance player in the competition, and some runners. Jared Atkinson, who they brought into the side, great runner. Best I've seen Alwyn Davey play for the year, and just great sharing in the Bombers. And Michael Hurley hasn't had a lot of the ball, but 2 crucial goals early in the match. No wonder they've given Jason Winlick a spell. He has been the best player on the ground in the first quarter and a half. It's the first time he's ran with this intensity and covering the ground, which we saw in his footy last year. He's had 17 disposals, 3 clearances and 2 inside 50s.
And run was missing from the Bombers' effort on Anzac Day. And this man Atkinson, he is a dasher. He's exciting. He goes for Hill, and the big man's got it.
The 50. The 50.
The 50 is where the man on the mark needs to be standing, not a penalty. Hill from a long way. Gumbleton is well placed, and he's not quite hung on to it. And the Hawks get off the hook. Hodge, Osborne, Kayla Thompson. Now, Shields and Stanton one-on-one. Young Shields, cagey Stanton, and caginess prevails. Dempsey, little untidy. Watson's 100th game is proving very fruitful. And the Bombers are building again. Lovett Murray to put it into the 50. And Hill again is the target. Gumbleton was there as well. Hurley, they've got plenty of targets in there, in the air and on the ground. And they hold it in for a ball up 25 metres out.
Whenever the ball goes into the Essendon forward line, contested mark, they look very, very shaky, the Hawthorn defenders. Play from behind, don't spoil aggressively enough.
Birchall to Whitecross. And now Birchall again. That's a good kick. They've split him open here, the Hawks. Kayla Thompson drives it quickly to a one-on-one, and Franklin will mark.
Pushed off Hooker.
The way to move the ball.
Yeah, they did it well, Quarters, down the middle. But with that ball, once it came off the boot in the middle of the ground, Buddy pushed back on Hooker. Might see it come up there. There you see it. And that's all he needed to do. Just really good experience. Put his opponent off balance and pushed himself into the flight of the ball.
You're in trouble when you take your eye off the ball there, and Hooker had no idea where the ball was, and Buddy worked off him, as you said.
So Franklin's got 2 goals, 2 for the night. That's his 3rd.
Well, Quarters, he enjoys playing against the Bombers.
Does he what?
You told us pre-game his record against them in recent years has been super. Now, is there another move, Lloydie? If he gets another goal, do you say Fletcher goes onto him.
I would love to see that match up, because Buddy's actually not leading that hard. He's actually winning a lot more balls in the one-on-one contest. Fletcher would be ideal for that. One more goal, Rob, and I'd make the move Fletcher on Franklin, because he's not working up that hard. I reckon he's winning the one-on-one duels with Hooker, so I'd make the change on Roughead with Hooker, who's not going as flash.
Superb effort this by Franklin. He's kicked Hawthorn's 3 goals at the quarter to get them into the game. Welsh advances Essendon's cause, though. Monfrey's further. Oh, Hurley did it beautifully. Put the body onto Murphy, opened the door and kicks his 3rd.
Got a massive problem, Hawthorn. They've had it for a while. Thomas Murphy just pushed out of the way. He had first crack at the footy. We'll see it come up. And it's the second time a ball has got past him at knee level. You do not let the ball get behind you when you are a defender. And we'll see it again. And that is just unacceptable. It is just not good enough. And I know I'm on his back, but at times you've got to call it as you see it. And Thomas Murphy doesn't deserve the games that he gets for Hawthorn.
Saints Brains Trust watching on. Hurley's got 3. Franklin 3 down the other end.
This is a smashing in the midfield. 21-7. They're under the pump, the Hawk defenders.
Winderlich kicks towards Hill. Couldn't take the mark. Guerra kicks in the Young direction. It'll be a Bombers ball. Hocking. Sidestep on Shields and uses the ball well. Finds Welsh. Gives it back to Hocking. Hocking kicks to half forward. No mark. Here's Lovett Murray. Back to Welsh. He's gone. Should be holding the ball. Umpire let it go as Young handballs to Rioli. He kicks towards Franklin. And Essendon have got numbers back here. Fletcher. The old pro does it beautifully. Didn't panic and kicks beautifully to Lovett Murray. So no problem there for the Bombers.
No, Buddy doesn't work hard enough when the ball's down there in the hands of the opposition. Does a lot of pointing, but not much running.
McVeigh to Dempsey, went without it. Birchall shrugs to tackle, gives it back to Bateman, and Bateman's off. Wasn't a great kick to Franklin, who got rid of his opponent, but he's got it on the left. A great smother. Beautifully done by Hooker. Now it spills to Roughead. Roughead goes short, and the mark's taken by Renoff.
And this bloke would want to nail this shot for goal, because he hasn't given a good enough contest in the middle of the ground. Here's Buddy. He's pretty strong when he can, and he worked Hooker at the perfect time, and a great hit from Jared Roughead to spot up Renoff, but he has been non-competitive in a centre bounce, and the clearances, the Hawks have to start their forays forward from defence, because he's getting killed in the centre bounce.
Brent Renoff only kicked 2 goals in his 28-game career. It's a dodgy old kick. It's a dodgy old point.
Could be on 2 for a while with kicking like that.
Wasn't the best, was it?
You wonder how simple the 2 were. Winderlich for the Dons. Brings it to Prismal. And they're prepared to attack through the corridor. This time it might be costly. Bateman, oh, he didn't get the nod from the umpire. Here's Birchall. And Shields. Where's Buddy? He's arriving late. Hooker, Fletcher. But it's all Hawthorn. Fletcher just had to bomb in a hurry. Ellis, Ladson. And Roughead is within range, but his kicking is looking decidedly shaky.
Let's see what his run-up is like. We've watched him in recent weeks, and it appears as if he doesn't take enough steps to get the momentum up. Just a casual stroll in and a lean back on the kick.
Close to the man on the mark too. Not much of a run-up here either.
Well within range, and they can be the scariest. It's pushed left just far enough to deny him the maximum result, which Hawthorn badly needed.
McVeigh, a little short one in the back pocket to Dempsey. Winderlich, by the way, up to 19 possessions for Essendon. Watson's got 16 and Stanton 15 for the Hawks. Guerra has 11. Justin Fletcher averaging plenty for Essendon this year. He's getting his hands on the ball 20 times a match. He kicks to half-back, and that's a good mark taken by Hodge. He's been pretty quiet by his lofty standards so far tonight.
And give a lot of credit to Andrew Welsh, Quarters.
Yep.
He's done a pretty good job on Luke Hodge.
Hodge to Franklin. Can't get there on the half volley. Sewell. Back to Young. Good tackle by Prismal. That could be on the full. It is. Free kick going to Essendon. No, whose boot is it off? It's on Prismal's boot. So Young's got it, and he puts it out of bounds on the full.
Which is what he did in the first place, Stephen.
Yeah, it was off for Young, was it?
Absolutely.
So free kick in the back pocket going to be taken by McVeigh. So all's well that ends well for Essendon. McVeigh kicks in the hill direction. And good mark, strong mark in front of Shinemakers.
Less than 3 minutes to go. If Hawthorn could pull one back, it would almost be a miscarriage of justice if they went in 10 points down. But that's the reality of it. On the other hand, a goal to Essendon would give them what you'd feel is about a fair result. Margin 16. It's delicately poised. So 2.5 minutes to go. Schoenmakers against Ryder, taking him out and opening the door for Gillum. It was pretty deliberate that. The umpire didn't spot it. Essendon come up with a free kick anyway.
No better man at getting in the backs than this man, Angus Monfries.
Short ball to Hocking, who had plenty of claret flowing from the nose early, and it looks as though it's been plugged up, but it's not a pretty sight. Now Winderlich to take his disposal count into the 20s. Brilliant first half. Inspiring effort in midfield. Likewise Watson. This will be his 17th use of the ball. In his 100th game, his dad played 307. You never know, they might tackle the Fletchers, who among fathers and sons of the game are #1 all time. Now Prismal. As the Bombers perhaps are happy to soak up seconds and then make one late charge. All the Hawks are back. They're all behind the centre. Neither team wanting to concede anything here. Fletcher to Hill. Now the big man will need to be careful with his feet. He takes the punt, rolls the dice. All Hawthorn in the air. Gumbleton's arriving, but Birchall was there first. Handball stolen by Slattery. High ball. Oh, massive leap, Hodge. Little risky back there. Lewis under the pump. Double teamed by Damien Zaharakis. Ryder had a go. Ball up.
And the Bombers' tackling has been ferocious. They've had 52 tackles, and the Hawks have been questioned. You see Hodges leap there, but the Hawks' tackling's been questioned. Just had the 37 up to half-time.
Crucial minute in this match. Ryder the tap.
Play onside! Play on!
Bump in the side, sent the umpire against Monfrey, so we'll have another bounce 15 metres out from Essendon's goal.
See if the Hawks have two go up again. Gillum has a tendency to want to be a ruckman.
They can put as many up as they want, all right? But if they block you, it's a free kick. I'm watching.
So Ryder against Schoenmakers.
Play on, got the tap.
Third man up was Gillum,
Play
without
on,
success.
Play on, knock it out. Play on, it's still moving. Now I'll have it.
So the margin 16 points in favour of Essendon. Not insurmountable by any stretch, but probably the Bombers haven't made the most of their chances. Should be further in front. Third man up was Lewis, slapped it towards the pocket. Birch is there against Zaharakis.
Could say the Hawks have missed a few bad chances as well, Quarters. So I reckon the Bombers have played better to be more in front, but Roughhead and a couple of others have missed some bad shots at goal.
Ryder the tap in the Welsh direction. Taken by Ellis, who's been pretty quiet so far. Gets it off to Osborne. Now Roughhead to Lewis. Out to Young.
Well, they need a bit of magic here. They've got to try and find a way in, and they don't have long in which to do it. Franklin giving it back. Schoenmakers time against them. That'll be a free kick to Young. It won't be 50 because he's haven't taken the mark.
I think it might be
It is 50.
Now the Hawks cannot get in the face of Hill. They've just got to accept the 50-metre penalty and kick the goal.
It's been reported.
Paying the free kick.
We've got to have a good look at this. I don't know if David Hill could do too much other than make the contest.
You guys have got the free.
He could have killed him, Rob.
He could have killed him.
He met him solidly, but that's a free kick. Now,
Jason, 19.
He's saying the mark.
maybe he had taken the mark.
Yeah, he's taken the mark.
Yeah.
Look, it's a right call, but he could have killed him.
Well,
he went easy on him.
It's a bad error, though. In the last 10 seconds of a half that Essendon have had very much the better of.
Okay, it's been dealt with.
To give a shot for goal, which didn't look like eventuating, to Clinton Young, who is a good kick and really should nail this. And he cuts the margin to 10 points on the very edge of half-time. That'll give the Hawks a sniff.
They will, and it's such a tough one. You know, David Hill, you've got to commit yourself to the contest. You see Dustin Fletcher saying, don't worry about it, mate, you'll be right. And we saw Campbell Brown down the other end, similar, where he crashed in the back of Welshie where it wasn't paid. So Hawks worked their way into it pretty well in that half and in that last part of that second quarter, and they're back in this match.
So we got a game on our hands. It's just 10 points in this big rivalry round game between Essendon and Hawthorn. The Bombers with their noses in front.
I think not.
So we start the third quarter. So much at stake. It's the Bombers by 10 points.
My apologies. Sorry, boys.
It's interesting. Luke Hodges started in the back line, and in fact he's playing on Gumbleton, so he's virtually the centre half back for the Hawks.
Here's Lovett Murray. Quick hands to Stanton.
Jump.
It's at inside 50. It's Hurley against Gillam. Hodge backs himself, breaks the Hurley tackle. Now onto the left boot, into the middle, and a sliding marks taken by Renouf. Gives it off to Birchall, over the top to Ellis. Throws it on the left. Roughhead sets himself in front. Beautifully fisted away by Fletcher. Coming through is Slattery. Gives it back to Fletcher. Now to Dyson. Kicks into the middle. But Guerra should take the mark here and does.
And wastes no time. And Hodge with time to have a look, have a think, and go for Roughhead. Beautifully done by Hooker, who provided the extra man. He left Franklin. It was brave and it was good. Gave to Hockey and Stanton. And now the Bombers are dangerous because the speedy Davey is loose. He could have cut the distance, but he unselfishly gave it to Gumbleton.
Well, Luke Hodge went to centre half back on Gumbleton. He's already had a couple of kicks in this third quarter, but caught out on the quick Essendon rebound.
Yeah, he'd be disappointed in Buddy Franklin there. He's got to make a contest. Cale Hooker came across far too easy.
So Gumbleton testing angle, 40 out as he kicks. And it's missing on the near side. So the margin is 11 points. Big premium on the first goal here. If the Hawks can kick it, they are almost back on level terms.
Yeah, Buddy, a spectator there. Matty, you're right. I'm very interested in the clearance count in this third quarter. At half-time, 8-22, Essendon's favour. Just a domination. Let's see if the Hawks can pick that area up.
A great zone working here, the Bombers, but so they're good enough for Hawks to get out of it. The mark taken by Stratton. Short to Bateman. He plays on. Down the line to Rioli. Hasn't had a lot to say in this match, Rioli, as he stabs the pass to Osborne. And that's nicely worked to Birchall. He's got Franklin on in the pocket. And Franklin should mark. And he's on his left side. So an opportunity here for his fourth. And this will make it a 4-point ball game.
Just very clean kicking skills
Make
from
it 5 points.
From the kick in at fullback by the Hawks. They virtually brought it around the boundary line with precise foot passing to set Buddy up.
So Franklin for his fourth. No, missed that badly. 3 goals, 3 to Buddy Franklin.
The only left footer that would prefer to be on the other side of the ground. His non-preferred side. It's quite amazing.
It's the Bombers by 10 points.
Disappointing result. Traded behind. McVeigh. Oh, that's a dangerous kick. All Hawthorn there. No mark paid. There'll be a ball up. That's a wasted opportunity for Hawthorn. They had about 4-on-1. Ladson felt he'd done enough as the man in front, but he shared it with Renoff, whose hands, you have to say, touched it first. But the Hawks were a little stiff. And umpire Camelons has only one option here, and that's to bounce it again. Cale Hooker still on Buddy Franklin. He's had the job for the whole evening so far. Shared the honours early in this quarter, but Franklin's shot a moment ago missed. Lewis trying to barge through, paid the price. Clear holding the ball, just didn't crack the Essendon wall.
Stay there, you're on the mark. Well clear of it.
Slattery's kicks good, finds Welsh.
Play on.
Kicks to Gumbleton, who's found some space on Hodge. Just couldn't quite hang on to the mark. Now as the ball hit ground level, Hodge got drilled in the back. So once the ball hit the ground, Hodge had the advantage. Interesting matchup, Rob.
Yeah, I think it's a good one because I think Hodge will back himself. He'll be very daring off that half-back flank. You saw there, he's got the ground to make up to get the spoil in.
And that's not a mark to Hawthorn at half forward. Roughhead takes it.
Touch, play on, yours.
Scrubby old kick on the right boot. Stanton, good clean hands. Well done to Fletcher. The old 1-2 back to Stanton. And his finish is good too, Hurley. And Stanton keeps on going. Good bump off the ball by Hurley on Rioli. It's well worked, Essendon. Mark taken by Gumbleton. Off to Lovett Murray, and he kicks to Monfries. No free kick. Hodge did well again. Good hold up by the Hawks.
Essendon supporters filthy because they reckon there were 2 free kicks over the shoulder. We might have a look at it. I thought there were free kicks coming the Bombers' way, and umpire said no, put the whistle up.
Move it on, please, Rick. 50 metres.
Oh, there's a Hawthorn player gone down behind play. Welsh has put a player down. They're into Welsh, and it's Xavier Ellis down, and they're remonstrating with Welsh.
Don't lose it. Sorry?
So Welsh has been reported for an off-the-ball incident with Xavier Ellis. And we're about to have a look at it in a minute too. So things starting to spice up here at the G. As Ladson drives it inside 50. Ryder, and that's the mark. Ball ricocheted off the boot. So Ellis is still a little bit uncomfortable behind play. And we'll show you the incident in a minute. Oh, interception almost from Roughhead. Picked up here by Shields, and Shields misses horribly. And let's have a look at the incident involving Welsh and Ellis.
Left of screen.
Hard to tell from that angle, but obviously something went on. And Ellis is down for the count. So a bad miss there for Shields, by the way. It's still Essendon by 10 points.
Left with what Merv Williams used to call on the TV boxing a shirt full of sore ribs. Bombers ball in the back pocket. Andrew Welsh might be getting a tap on the shoulder.
Well, he's on report.
It was bad luck for the Bombers in that, as Wolsey said, gee, you'd have to think they were stiff, that Monfries didn't get at least one free kick, and in fact it went against him. Anyway, the game goes on. Hawthorn are attacking, Essendon are repelling, and Lovett Murray gives to Zaharakis. Still no goal in this third quarter. Hurley the target here, Gillam the defender. Lovett Murray arrives, but there'll be another throw-in.
Off the boot of Stratton, I think. Tim, a free kick
there
on the
isn't
full.
out on the full, and the Hawks have taken Hodge off Gumbleton. He was probably looking, although Hodge is getting out the ball. I think Ray Chamberlain saying it's a Hawthorn free kick. So again, the Bombers are on the rough end of the pineapple, and they're not happy.
Ellis has made some space. He kicks to Franklin. He got lit under the ball well by Hooker. And Slattery cool in the crisis. Back to Hooker, and his kick to Lovett Murray was unsuccessful. So a throw in.
Let's have a look
looks
at
like
Welsh.
it's a knee from Welsh.
Yeah, it is a knee to the groin.
Here's Ellis, got caught a bit high. So he's got the free kick.
He's been in everything, Ellis.
Ellis kicks to Franklin in the pocket. That's poor delivery to Lance Franklin. He gets there now. Campbell back to Osborne. Gives it to Birchall. Got no support. And he's gone for holding the ball.
So the Hawks are getting plenty of the ball. It's 8 inside 50s to 3, but they just can't put it on the scoreboard.
Move it on. Play on.
Lovett Murray with the footy for the Bombers, and he has a target, but Lonigan drew the front on contact from Ellis. So it is Essendon's ball, and this first goal is being fought for and defended against as though lives depend on it. Lonigan for Essendon. Not a great placement, Murphy. Safe pair of hands.
Well, the season depends on it, Tim, because whoever loses, it's good night as far as September goes.
Well, it's more than 25 years, Rob, since a team started a season 1 and 5 and made the finals. And, of course, you would know what team that was back in 1984.
I believe it was the old Roys, Fitzroy.
The Robert Walls coached Roys. It's a Hawthorn free and another 50.
It was against Ricky Dyson. Ray Chamberlain felt he went over the mark and made contact with Birchall's jumper.
So a chance for Hawthorn. They've been a little more dangerous inside the 50 than the Bombers. Birchall deliberately sits this up, but there's not much in the aerial contest for the Hawks. Atkinson getting it off. Lonigan, an advantage called. It was an Essendon free kick if they wanted. Prismal back to Atkinson. And when will this deadlock break? When it does, the team that scores the goal might generate considerable momentum.
Stay out, Campbell. Keep running out. Keep running it towards you. Move it on, Henry.
Slattery short to Fletcher.
Hodge now back on Gumbleton, Lloydie, so they're shifting him back and forth.
I reckon they've done it to shore up the defence, Rob, but I reckon he's the wrong matchup because Gumbleton works hard. He's not a Tom Hawkins type who lumbers around. He'll get his opportunities.
Frisbell kicks to Welsh. He goes short to Winderlick. He goes in the middle to McVeigh. So slowly but surely for Essendon, maintaining possession of the football. Back to the wing. Kick to Watson. He goes back to Winderlick. Can't take the mark. Well done by Monfries. Good effort to McVeigh. And the mark's taken by Gumbleton, who plays on. Zaharakis will go, and the deadlock has been broken.
Well, you picked it, Matty Lloyd. Whilst we all admire Luke Hodge, he can be a little loose. Patient build-up by the Bombers. Good kick by McVeigh. Comes from the side. I like the way that Gumbleton just moves with the footy. Now, this kick here by Birchall, the two big fellas have already led to him. You can see Roughhead can't get back there. Franklin already led up to him. It's just a really dumb kick because his two big forwards led. He ignored them. Then he's kicked it on top of the little blokes.
And the Bombers are away. Watson to Hill, and Gumbleton dangerous again. Again he gets it to Zaharakis, who has another go at the sticks. It curls and wobbles and just misses. The Bombers by 17.
I'd make that move. I'd get Hodge back in the midfield. I know they're trying to shore up their defence, but Gumbleton works hard. He's got a huge work rate, and I don't think Hodge is the right matchup for him.
Gillan brings the ball back in. And that's not a bad result for Essendon. Good effort by Dyson there against a couple of Hawks. Shan Spateman getting a rub down. A couple of the Bombers fans not too happy. That bloke's got some bling around the neck. And he can't hold the food in the mouth either.
Well, he's an Essendon supporter.
Oh, spoken by Robert Walls. Not endorsed by the rest of the commentary box. Dear me, Robert.
This is the worry. This is the worry. And good coaching by Matty Knights to get Gumbleton well back, which takes Hodge, the attacking defender, out of the thick of the action.
Ball's into Scoot. Shields. Good effort by Watson to hold it up. Now it comes to Dyson. To Hill. To Winderlick. Runs back through traffic. but manages to keep possession for his team as he finds Dempsey. Dempsey now into the pocket. Hodge. In fact, it's not Hodge, it's Murphy. Murphy will switch. Now here's an opportunity for the Hawks as Gillum marks. The Hawks bring it to the wing. They'll have a throw in.
He's exceptionally quick, Jared Atkinson, and right on the hammer of Michael Osborne, and it's crucial that the Hawks have to get the next goal to stay in this match.
Just about half the quarter gone. Bombers have kicked the only one. Winder Schoenmakers. Lewis hasn't had a big impact. Watson has. Does it well. Drew the tacklers. Releases the speeds to Davey. Nice little dab. Zaharakis, focal point in this quarter. Stratton to Gillum for the Hawks. Ladson to Sewell. And Hawthorn should make a safe takeaway here. Sewell waiting. Hodge. And has a target in Schoenmakers in the middle. Has a look. He's got his tall towers. Franklin up, rough head down. 3 Bombers there against them. Lovett Murray. Well played by the Essendon defence. Dempsey. And a good kick. And Fletcher has Atkinson lurking out wide. And he has a bit of space. What's more, he has a couple of targets.
There's been an Essendon player has put Bateman down. It was Lonergan, number 14. And it was only about 8 metres away from the umpire. Silly thing to do.
So free kick to Bateman, who loads up. Good luck catching that one. Franklin, roughhead, the easy pickings for the Essendon defenders. Shields couldn't control it. Now Lovett Murray. Good vision.
I'll tell you one thing, Quarters, when the ball hits the deck in the Hawthorn forward line, Buddy and Roughhead don't work hard enough to chase.
Zaharakis to Lovett Murray. Corralled by Sewell. And that's a beautiful kick from Lovett Murray. Finds Watson, who's really stamping his authority in the game right now.
Disposal 21, not his best. Schoenmakers has Roughhead calling. He receives from Osborne. Back to Schoenmakers. Got rid of one tackle. Couldn't get rid of the second. Has another go. Pushed him, but no holding the ball.
Got to get better awareness, Schoenmakers. Gets lost there. Where they're coming from.
Mark McVeigh wanting to retrieve the ball in as short a time as possible. Fletcher to a contest. Dyson kept his feet against Young. Couple of left footers. Good delivery with the right. And it's Gumbleton again. He's getting better with every game. I've waited a long time to see his best. He goes for Ryder. It doesn't have the carry. Hurley was down. Lonergan was also down. Hodge trying to crash through. He's caught. He is a little lucky.
Hey, my footy, don't give away a free kick. I'll just have the ball. Guys.
There's the Lonergan bump inside the centre square. And not a smart thing to do.
They're too far off the ball there, Sammy Lonergan, so it was a deserved free kick.
I'll tell you what, Essendon has been the more aggressive of the two teams tonight.
Watson snaps. Oh, they're in trouble now, the Hawks. The Bombers lead by 23.
Joe.
Got a great snap.
Well done to Jobe Watson. Let's have a look at a bit of Essendon aggression. That's Hill hit. That's a Fletcher to the face. And it's a Welsh knee to the groin. They've been the more aggressive. They've been up and about. And I tell you what, there hasn't been too much fight back from the Hawks.
Play on.
Kevin Sheedy would be proud of it.
And that is the 7th clearance this quarter to 1. They dominated the first half. They're dominating the third quarter with the clearances, Essendon.
So they've kicked the only 2 goals and the lead is out to just about 4 goals. And Watson takes that over the line, fresh from having kicked the last goal for the Bombers.
Just dominated the clearances. Have a look at that, quarter by quarter. They haven't let up. Led by Jobe Watson. Andrew Welsh has been really good. Lovett Murray's done his bit. Stronger bodies, as Matty Lloyd predicted pre-game.
Attacking side of that pack for Essendon. Hawthorn don't want to mess this up. Zaharakis. Monfries still alive. Watson a hand on it. Osborne though to Renoff. Back to Osborne. Stratton. Gillam. Bateman. And Hawthorn can finally set up a meaningful disposal. And it's very meaningful to Young, who just couldn't quite close to kicking range. And Fletcher led Roughhead to it. But Young kept coming, overran it, and the Bombers get off the hook. And that's okay. Very deliberate. Oh, deliberate.
This is interesting.
Well, after all that has been allowed to pass, after all that's been allowed to pass over the last 5 weeks, that is extraordinary.
I agree with you, Tim.
That is extraordinary and totally inconsistent with what we've seen. Compare that, Rob, with what we saw at Amy Stadium last Saturday night in the dying moments.
Essendon players were under pressure there. It was almost a goal. It's near the goal line. It's pressure. It's frantic. Buddy comes in to put the... he's under pressure. Slattery's under pressure. And he's been pinged for deliberate. If that's deliberate, we've had 25 deliberates this year that haven't been paid. Give us some consistency, umpires.
The difference is he carried it over. He didn't knock it over. And I reckon that makes it look worse, but in fact the end result is identical.
The disappointment in Matthew Knights. They've worked so hard and they're on top of the Hawks, and just that little bit of help they needed. And you see the frustration from James Hird and David Evans there in the crowd.
Ellis gives it off to Hodge, who throws it on the boot. Franklin caught behind. Roughhead's got a lift. He gives it to Franklin. 2 goals in 30 seconds for the Hawks. And Franklin's got 5.
5 of 7, 2 quarters, and they'd be happy they finally got a centre clearance. And Hodgie back in the midfield where he should be. Too good to be sitting across half back, and this man 5 of 7. Without him, it would be a mauling. Jared Roughhead, good to see him get at the contest where he hasn't been. But Buddy Franklin's been a superstar. Buddy Franklin here, I reckon he's not leading enough, but he's cat-like at ground level. And 5 of 7 goals, he's keeping him in the match.
Well, is it time to put Fletcher on him?
Well, Hooker's going okay in the one-on-ones. He got a lucky goal there. I reckon I'd give it one more, Rob.
Tremendous effort, Franklin. Lewis pumps the Hawks forward. High, wide, not terribly handsome, although Rioli was arriving. Here's Hodge. Couldn't get rid of the tackle.
No
Gone for holding it.
Tell you what, the crowd's in it now.
Lovett Murray, a little short one to Dempsey. So they've got a loose man here on the members' wing. As Hooker kicks to Hocking. And he's got McVeigh support. Nicely worked by Essendon. McVeigh inside 50. Oh, Hill dropped the chest mark, but recovers nicely. Keeps the footy alive. Puts out the big don't argue. Play on is the call. Handball comes back to Hocking. He loads up, he backs himself, touches the ball on the turf, and then he kicks short. Beautifully done.
Good composure.
Great stuff by Heath Hocking.
50 metres.
50 metres.
Great composure by Hocking under pressure.
And Stanton kicks the goal. Bombers by 17.
That's Jordan Lewis not playing to the whistle. Just looked to make contact when he had to look around, see what the umpire's call was, but it was long enough to be a mark, so that was a brain fade, brain snap by Jordan Lewis. Great run of play there from Heath Hocking. Put on the bump there, moved forward, and he was the one that created the contest forward to Brent Stanton, and Jordan Lewis You can't complain. You've got to look at the umpire. Don't judge it before you see the decision he's made.
Pretty harsh penalty, isn't it, for such a minor transgression as that. 17 points the margin, and as often happens, once the first goal comes, the floodgates open. Free kick to the Bombers. And Hill having quite an influence at the moment to Lovett, Murray and Watson.
Good running by Jobe Watson.
And over the top, Davey wanted to go because he's obviously in a very tight spot. Left footer. Opens it up, but got himself into trouble. He's done okay. Zaharakis will line them up, and it's very kickable from there.
Gee, they're very willing to share it, the Bombers. Very willing to set up a teammate inside 50. Short pass. They're on their toes. They're alert. They're quick. They're fast. And just catching the Hawks napping.
So Zaharakis kicked a goal earlier in the quarter. From 40 metres, he's hooked this. The Bombers lead by 18 points, but it's not over yet with a bit over a quarter to go. So no score. They lead by 17.
As the Hawks bang it long.
On contact, didn't look at the ball.
And an advantage paid, so the Hawks come away with a footy. Inside 50, and Slattery cuts it off.
He's done that a few times. He's got back and just helped out his defenders.
And the Bombers peel off. Prismal's one of them. Yeah. Got to be careful here. Hooker's got to be careful against Rioli. He got out of jail nicely. Prismal to Lovett Murray. And the Bombers on the run again. He has two bounces, being chased by Whitecross. Went too far, coughed it up. Ellis. Receives back from Gillam. Not a lot on offer. Goes into the middle. Can't find Sewell on the full, but he's good enough. To Bateman. To half forward. Here's Kayla Thompson. Not had a good night. Handball comes back to the run at Bateman. Onto the left boot. Chance Bateman kicks a wonderful goal for the Hawks. Gut-busting running.
And this is why he's arguably the most important player at Hawthorn, because they do lack a bit of run. As much as you admire Luke Hodge and Sam Mitchell and the like, he runs the lines, and you see Big Dipper. He loves the rivalry as much as Big Dermy does to beat the Bombers, and they're just hanging in there, the Hawks. He did a great job there, Bateman, kicking that goal. But here's a sign. Jared Ruffhead was on for a while, but there's a sign they've lost a bit of confidence with him in the matchup on Dustin Fletcher. Really struggled tonight with only the 10 disposals and no goals.
Hawks back to within 11 points. Secondary ball up here. It was the Bombers by 23 at quarter time, 10 at half time.
It was the Big Dipper. It's not easy being Dipper.
He'd still love to be out there. Hawthorn's ball. Ran off to take it. Arm held. Young with that explosive left boot. Franklin up. Oh, he almost finished the job. But almost is not quite good enough. And you can get hurt on the rebound in these situations. Hill has a target short. Hurley needs to work it in quickly. And he does. Pumps it. Davies arriving, but Campbell Brown safely, legally takes it through.
Well, have a look at Buddy. Gets up, second grab at it, can't control it, Essendon rebound. Michael Hurley's left foot, Lloydie, he kicks it longer than his right.
When we first saw him, we went to Coffs Harbour on a training camp, and he was in the defensive 50, and we didn't know which foot he kicked with. That's how good he is on both feet.
Ricky, right there. Keep moving out, Elwyn.
Bombers by 2 goals. Renoff has the ball at half-back, does not want to kick. Oh, he did in the end. Almost smothered by Zaharakis. And now Gillam, he's got Brown on the wing. And he can mark and go, Campbell Brown. And kicks towards Franklin, who's been caught behind here. Oh, that's a courageous effort by Young, who's been rewarded.
He gets that for bravery, Quarters.
That's the second brave act of this game from Clint Young.
He could get this.
50 for not giving it back enough.
Too slow. Game on. Goal the difference after this.
This will be Young's second goal from a 50 on the goal line.
And if we can get another look at that, Cale Hooker was so concerned about Buddy giving it, handballing it off and launching one from 50 that he's given Young the 50 metres.
This is a strange game. We've had all sorts, haven't we?
The Hawks, you have to admire them. They just keep coming, but the Bombers, just their inexperience is showing out here at the moment. And here's the fear that Buddy Franklin puts into his opposition defender. Cale Hooker picks up the ball. He's so concerned about Prismal not manning up Buddy Franklin and launching from 50 that he's given away a 50 to Clinton Young.
Sixth 50-metre penalty of the night, 4 of them in this quarter. And Essendon take away Ryder with the sit, and he's got it. Or has he? No, he hasn't quite. Bombers could still do some damage. Lonergan gets his body in over it. Look at that for a pack of willing players. Hawthorn closer than they've been since the 12-minute mark of the first quarter. It looked as though they were going to be blown out of the water early. Oh, that's dangerous. Gillum taken out of the air. Ray Chamberlain from behind could not possibly have known whether that was a legitimate disposal.
Paddy, you got to come around, mate.
And he's pinged him.
It was Gillum again in a ruck contest.
Pat Ryder.
The ruckman's there, and we've seen him do that 3 or 4 times, third man up, and he cost them a goal in the first quarter. Looks like he's going to cost them a goal in the third quarter. You got your ruckman there in Renouf. Let him do the job.
We'll have to call him X-Ray Chamberlain because he got it absolutely right. No doubt on the replay. Ryder, important kick. Good kick. Bombers by 2 goals.
They just had to play the percentages there, Hawk. They would have known there's long left in the quarter. Just get it to the boundary line, all man up, and we see Gillum. He's actually playing on Hurley and Gumbleton, so just man them up, put an arm across. There was no need for him to jump in that contest.
Well, what a contest and what a quarter. This was the deliberate rush behind. Essendon 23 points in front, and that is paid deliberate. I can't remember another one paid this year, and I've seen dozens taken over the line like that, and all of a sudden the umpire plucks a free kick.
Rare clearance for the Hawks. Sewell, but he just blazed away. And easy pickings for Dempsey. Rioli's been quiet. Dempsey to half forward to Hill. Couldn't quite hang on to the mark, but he's good enough to butter up. Back to Dempsey. The tape around the schnozzers, Ladson, and we'll have a bounce Essendon's half forward line.
Essendon looking just to keep this lead. They put Angus Monfries behind the ball just to make sure that they can go in with this 12-point lead.
Renouf against Hill. Renouf tapped it straight to Welsh. Left foot kick. There's a big opportunity for Essendon. Couldn't get there though. Hawks take it away. Stratton to Whitecross. Oh. Out of bounds on the full, is it? Yep. Free kick to Essendon. And there's time for the Bombers. Still half a minute. They might be happy with the lead, as you said, Matthew, but... And they are. So just a little kick backwards. Monfries to Dyson and now to Fletcher. So it looks like the Bombers will take a 12-point lead into the last change. No team, when we've had the 16-team competition, has ever made the finals, being 1-5 to start the season. One of these teams will be 1-5 tonight, so they can virtually kiss goodbye any hope of making the finals in 2010. Who will it be? Will it be Essendon or Hawthorn? The Bombers in front by 2 goals at the last break.
Well, certainly got the blood going that quarter. We saw a bit of everything, and the Hawks certainly fought their way back. Last goal there by the Bombers to Paddy Ryder settled things down a little bit. But it's been a really good contest. I think Essendon have worked harder, they've tackled harder, they've had the clearance breaks going their way. They just have to keep that momentum going, and I think they can get over the line. However, that big fella Buddy is up forward, and when he's there, anything can happen.
At Hawthorn's attacking end. Still Hooker on Franklin. Fletcher on Roughhead. It's been an intense night at the MCG. The final stanza of it is underway. Essendon lead by 2 goals.
It's Bill Free. Knock it out.
Scott McLaren lets it go on here. Renoff brings Stanton down and got him high. Yes, that was there. Matthew Knight's dagger look produces an early result. Stanton's ball puts it in front of Ryder, loads from 50. It looks reasonable off the boot. Not quite good enough. Andy behind. 13-point margin. The president looks ragged. He's having a tough night.
He never looks like he's enjoying the football, does he, Jeff?
Lewis kicks towards Bateman. Slattery stood his ground. Young to Ladson. Ladson back to Bateman. Not a lot on offer for Chance Bateman. In the end, that's a very clever kick. In fact, it's a brilliant kick. Now, Riola's on the charge here. And Sewell kick to him. What can Cyril produce here? Swings onto the left. Oh, it's a shocking kick towards Roughhead. Franklin caught behind, just sitting back and watching. Now Franklin into the picture. Squeezes the kick out. Looking for Sewell. Easily picked off by Hocking, and the Bombers get it back. Ryder into the middle looking for Davey. Almost got a free kick, not quite. Young did the 360. Lucky to get away with that. There's no one inside. Essendon's attacking 50. No one at all. Brown fed out the handball. Wasn't a bad one. Young picks it up. Handball's over to Bateman. Now on the left, kicks towards Hodge, feigned the free kick. Here's Osborne to Hodge, hot handball to control.
Got the numbers, Essendon.
And it's a free kick going Essendon's way.
They won't have a lot to go to when they cross the centre on current indications.
He's been good. Dustin Fletcher again, he's been the Bombers' best player this year. Up for 21 disposals, and he's kept Franklin to no goals and just 10 disposals. He's been awesome tonight.
Watson and Bateman.
Roughhead, sorry.
Osborne, was he pulled by the leg? No free kick. Oh, it is on now. This is a tremendous contest. Now, Jeff Kennett has had more on his mind than just the footy at the MCG as a gentleman came down over in the presidential section of the Southern Stand, and guess who was on the scene to lend a helping hand? Good Samaritan Jeffrey. Hawks pressing. Bombers holding it in. There'll be a ball up at the 50. Half forward for Hawthorn. The Dons lead by 13.
Got to get something out of Jordan Lewis in this quarter. He's just there right of screen on Lovett Murray. Just 9 disposals for a midfielder, not enough.
Ryder beautifully picked up. A little bit of soccer played by Slattery. Guerra backed himself, put the body on the line, driven into the turf. Umpire let it go, bounce. 51 metres out from the Hawks' goal.
And another winner for the Bombers has been Henry Slattery, who's kept Rioli Quarters made mention of it in the 3rd quarter. There they are in picture. He's worn him like a glove all night and kept him to 10 disposals.
And a great job. Lewis averaging 22 touches this season, so he's well down. Hodge is tackled, and another bounce.
Push out, Jordan Lewis.
Free kick to Lewis. Lead from Roughhead. It was a half-hearted one, to be honest. And again, Essendon come away with the ball.
Can't really go to him without a crummer, and there wasn't one there. Lovett Murray sweeping the hand pass, but needed to be a bit cleaner than that. He goes in and gets it back to Dyson. Another whistle. Essendon free kick. Lovett Murray to take it.
Jordan Roughhead. Jared Roughhead. L-A-Z-Y. Lazy as can be tonight. He has just not been prepared to work hard enough. He hasn't chased when the ball's hit the deck. He hasn't been proactive. He's just lumbered around in that forward 50. He's got a bloke. How old's
34.
34, heading for 35. Who's just shown him how to play.
He's 35 on Friday, Dustin Fletcher.
Older than you, Lloydie.
Well and truly, Tim, 3 years older.
What's he doing out there still? And you sitting up here doing the commentary on him. Bombers just about made the takeaway, but oh, and there's a late free kick Essendon's way. Lonigan to take it. Well, as happened in the previous quarter, we're having a prolonged arm wrestle here. Watson with the pitching wedge. Dempsey stood his ground unflinching and took the mark. And he has a menu of options here. One of them is Heath Hocking. He can run to the 50 and he picks a very good target in Davey. The Bomber fans want 50, they won't get it, but he's in a prime scoring position, 30 out, straight in front.
We saw him fall forward here. Great run from Hocking and great vision, but Alwyn Davey doesn't like set shots for goal, so that's why he fell forward. He prefers to give them off or kick snaps and boomerangs. Not a great set shot.
Even from straight in front like that.
He just doesn't kick through them at times.
7 metres of goal front staring him in the face.
Good boy.
And he puts it through. And Essendon lead by 19 points.
Alwyn Davey's been his best game for the year, and you can see the excitement in his face. He's had 12 disposals and 2 goals too. Been good tonight.
Bombers by 19. They've led from go to woe. Lovett Murray had an excellent night for Essendon. Here's Sewell. Now Renoff. Took him on. Umpire was generous.
Nathan Lovett Murray, 28 disposals, is the most of any player on the ground, Lloydie. I'm surprised to an extent, but he certainly shows he can play as a midfielder.
He's been averaging 26 this year, Rob. So he's up on numbers.
He was in the VFL midway through last year, and we needed a stronger, harder body, and he's been brought in and got re-signed again when maybe people thought he was in trouble last year, but he's been fantastic for, I reckon, 12 months now.
12 disposals in the third quarter for Nathan Lovett Murray. Ran off against Hill. Hill the tap, went to Ellis, to Sewell, got caught a bit high. So Sewell kicks to Big Renoff. He passes to Franklin. Not this time for Buddy. Now Atkinson to Prisnall. They seem to have all the answers to Bombers. Hawthorn have thrown down the challenge on about 3 occasions in this match, but every time Essendon has responded. They lead by 19 points. They have a throw in on centre wing.
To use one of those David Parkin type words, there's just no crumbability in Hawthorn's 50.
It's come out with ridiculous ease, Tim, time and time again tonight.
Play on!
Hill rucking for Essendon. Sewell making the takeaway for the Hawks. But again, it's going to come out with ridiculous ease. The kick wasn't good. It was straight to Stanton, who goes to Watson and hits him perfectly. Watson let Rioli in here. Not a good choice to go to McVeigh there. Rioli trying to paddle. Fletcher blocked well with his body. Did it very well, expertly. Here's Shields, though, for the Hawks. Clever, quick hands. Young, 2 to beat. getting it off to Osborne. Quick for Caleb Thompson. Kept his feet when all about him were losing theirs. Osborne again. Good centre. Hooker Franklin into his back. Essendon ball.
Keeps playing in front, Cale Hooker. He beeps backing himself in.
And the mark's taken by Hill. So again, Essendon more than able to withstand the Hawthorn challenge as Winderlich marks.
Worked very hard, Winderlich. Took off 50-60 metre sprint to take that mark. Jordan Lewis couldn't go with him.
Mark taken by Welsh, who had his number taken in the third quarter. Two Bombers reported tonight, Welsh and Hill. So Hill with the ball on wing position. Kicks to half forward. Lonergan. Yep. Too good for Brown. 50. And if he kicks this, it's not quite game over, but boy, it's going to be hard to see the Hawks get back from here. So Lonergan comes to within 15 metres from goal. He's kicked one in the first quarter. And this will make it a 25-point ball game. Oh, he's missed. Bad miss. It's the Bombers by 20.
Campbell Brown just grabbing a few metres there on the mark, which brought a play on that 50.
750-metre penalty of the night. They've been unforgiving. Shields, very good mark in front. Might get 50 here with the ball.
50.
Well, he had the ball and he put it on the ground.
So number 8 picked the wrong man to tangle with there. Ray Chamberlain circling like a great white shark. And Prismal, who was tackled high, was giving up a 50-metre penalty in the process. Caleb Thompson swinging it in the Franklin direction, but Fletcher.
He's been fantastic.
I think Roughhead, when you're not having a good night, he's actually shied away from going near the football in the contest, and Fletcher is just reading it off the boot and beating him there every time.
Dempsey to Hill, who's worked hard and takes the mark. Good work by David Hill.
And he's taken 3 out that side of the ground in the last 5 minutes.
Drives the ball down the line. That's beautiful delivery. No mark to Hurley. Murphy to Sewell to Rioli. I still don't think it's 100%, but don't take anything away from Slattery tonight. A long bomb. And again, Fletcher just riding shotgun there. And Franklin had to beat 3 of them and couldn't. And that crumability lacking again, Tim.
Just no one at the fall of the ball. No one working hard enough to be there. Dons with 3 on 2 here, and they'll get a free kick. Ryder's ball. Hawthorn making no impression. In fact, it's flowing the other way. Ryder to Winderlich. Difficult spot out there. They have been kicked by...
Look at Ray, he's right onto it.
As he's rising to the moment. Winderlich could have a go from just inside 50 if he came straight in and crossed the paint, but goes to Davey. Good spoil from Birchall. Davey still dangerous, curling it. That's what he likes to do, Lloydie. It's crossed the line. It's going to be called a behind. It is a behind. The lead is 21 points Essendon's way.
David Hill cops one at the back of the head, and he's got the angry pills. White line fever, David Hill. He's definitely got it.
Has he?
Oh, yeah. He's the one player in the team that has got that aggression about him when the team needs it.
Seems such a gentle style off the field.
So does Lloydie.
Rioli, gee, his kicking's been poor tonight. Might in trouble here, the Hawks now. A high tackle, lucky to get out of jail there. Hodges got it. They need goals in a hurry, Hawthorn. Almost the halfway mark of the last quarter. They look tired. Brown gives it to Bateman. The lead's on from Franklin, and he gets there. And Franklin will be kicking from about 53 metres out, and Chance Bateman says, have a ping.
And this is his side quarters. He absolutely loves them from here. We spoke, he'll run out to the left-hand side and pulls them across his body, and they usually curl back in from the right-hand goalpost.
5 goals, 3 tonight for Lance Franklin. It'd have to be his very best. Won't make the distance. And we'll have a throw in Hawthorn's forward pocket. So past the halfway mark of the last quarter, it's the Bombers by 21.
And Hawthorn haven't scored in half a quarter. They need to start, and they need to start very soon if they're to have a hope. Schoenmakers, just a bit of high contact on Shields. Not awarded by Scott McLaren, so a ball up, but it's in the right spot for Hawthorn. They've got to kick a couple in a hurry to give themselves some hope. Hope is fading. Ryder beautifully over the top of Roughhead, but Stanton couldn't take it away. Prismal, Dempsey, nice collect. Safe option. Fletcher doing it beautifully. Start on Anzac Day and a heavily beaten team. Brilliant again tonight. It'll be thrown in. If defenders got it cushier, Lloydie, that they can keep playing on to the age of 35. I think Fords give it away a bit earlier.
I think it certainly does help with the way the zones are happening, but I think the problem for the Hawks, you've spoken of no crummers, Tim, but they've only had 4 goal kickers on the night. It's a real issue for them, and the Bombers have had 9.
And away come Essendon again. Oh, that's a free kick for a crunch across the head to Monfries. Advantage paid. Zaharakis, Guerra went in hard, but missed him. Now Monfries again. Prismal was clever to McVeigh. Back to Watson.
It's a good point you make, Matty, because they've just had the 4 goal kickers, and basically, unless Buddy kicks 7 or 8, they're not going to win the game.
Yeah.
All the eggs in the one basket.
It's been a problem for a while. Big Buddy kicked 100 something a couple of years back. Roughhead kicked 70, but he's a shadow of his former self at this stage.
Taylor Thompson almost threw it out to Lewis. Again, the Bombers hunting in numbers. Hocking lost it. Here's Birchall to Lewis. Should have got a free kick there. Umpire let that one go. Slattery against Rioli. Good hands by Stanton. Now Atkinson, a one-on-one. Hill and Gillam. Hill in front. Third bite of the cherry, not quite. Gillam to Hodge, holding the ball. And if he kicks this goal, it is all over.
You just wonder where the Hawks are at. You excused them last year. They had injuries. They'd won the premiership the year before, but I think everybody thought that Hawthorn would be certainly top 8 material and maybe even top 5. They haven't looked anything like it. And some of the younger players who you thought would come on haven't. They've got real worries with their ruck division. I think they've got real worries with their defence.
So Hill puts it through, and that is just about it at the MCG.
I must say, I find myself asking if the purpose of the laws is to keep the ball in motion, and if the ball is knocked out of a player's hands, why a free kick is paid, but it has been. It's the live ladder based on an Essendon victory in this game, showing them with 12 points in anticipation. Hawthorn with 4 points, and the Hawks are in serious trouble. Rather, Essendon should be on 8 points. That was in error. Here goes Lovett Murray, breaking away from Birchall. Floodgates are showing signs of opening here, and Prismal rams it home. They're open. The Bombers are well and truly home.
What a contrast to the supporters. That's a great shot, wasn't it?
You do, and Lovett Murray, he's been really important. That give takes him up to 30 disposals. He's been hard. Great to see Prismal back in the side. And there's so many worrying signs, as you said, Rob, all over the ground for the Hawks.
Well, they say winners are grinners and losers can please themselves. There's the Hawks cheer squad. And the Bombers up and running. The fans loving it.
just the midfield. They've been smashed in the clearances. Absolutely smashed in the clearances tonight. 39-17. And really, other than Bateman, who's given a yelp there? Hodge has been back and forward, but they just haven't got the 8 or 9 midfield players that a good team needs.
Bombers rubbing salt into the wound now as Lovett Murray drills it long. Hurley, not quite. And that's a point.
The other damning stat is that the Bombers have had 100 more disposals and they've out-tackled the Hawks by 31. So that's
31.
That's that before the game quarters. It's 98 tackles to 67. So they've absolutely smashed them in that area where the Hawks struggle. I think it's a case of leg speed and not being able to cover the ground, and also attitude.
Franklin up in midfield, waving players forward, wanting to bring Roughhead forward. And when the ball arrived, he was 5 metres behind Fletcher.
He wouldn't come up, Tim. He's just lazy, Jared Roughhead.
Welsh to Prismal. A long way from home, but Hawthorn have been cracked wide open now, and Hill can have another go.
Buddy had that ball. He looked up and he was saying, for goodness sake, give me a lead up. Have a look at this. Have a look at this. Look where Roughhead is at the back. At the back, he doesn't want to be part of it. And the old man Fletcher picks it up and says, well, I'll just have another disposal. That's 25 that he's had.
Terrific second half from David Hill after being reported right on half-time. He put a bit of boomerang on that, but started to curl the right way and then it went the wrong way.
And great signs for him, Tim. 22 disposals and has dominated the ruck, and he set the scene with Renouf early in the match.
Guerra goes down the guts. And the mark's taken by Young. Gives it off to Shields. He kicks in the Rioli direction. Slattery's there. Cyril brings the ball to ground. Beautiful tackle on him by Dempsey, and Rioli threw it.
But it was 1 against 3, 1 against 4. Other Hawthorn forwards, they weren't prepared to run hard to get over to help him.
Mark taken by Ryder. Now McVeigh. Good kick to Gumbleton, who gets better with each week. He kicks to Hill again, and that's no free kick. Winderlick, who helps. In fact, it's Hurley. Handballs back to Zaharakis. Shrugs the tackle. Has a bounce. Runs to 50. Kicks to the goal square, and it's rushed through for a behind by Stratton.
Should have used David Hill there over the top. Zaharakis blazed away. Come on, you've got to play till the final siren. Should have used the big fella who's worked really hard tonight.
They are monstering the Hawks right now. Hawthorn just about embarrassing. And one says that with due consideration, but they're just not in the race. I guess they're feeling disappointed, and a bit of the steam's gone out of their early efforts, but they are being chopped up and spat out by the Bombers.
Well, a very famous Hawthorn person took me aside on Thursday and said, don't get conned by the Hawks at the moment. They're a bottom 4 side. And I laughed at him. I said, you're kidding me. He said, I'll tell you, the Hawks are a bottom 4 side at the moment.
Well, people were saying that of Essendon during the past week, and they're 6-goal winners over Hawthorn right now. And they're treating the Hawks as second rate. Here's Hocking. He has Winderlick lurking. Wouldn't come out for him. Hodge, Winderlick the tackle. Hocking the tackle. Bombers holding it in the 50. Birchall, Hodge, the pressure telling no. Gumbleton trying to prize it out for the Dons. The way they're going, they'll get it out eventually, but no, finally. The Hawthorn defence holds up. Renouf, Murphy, and an untidy kick. But Young is in enough space to be able to collect and then break away. Has a short option, but he also has speed, and he still has space, and he has a long left foot. He has Bateman up front, waving one way. Young goes the other and puts it out of bounds.
It's been a depressing night. Have a look at this little hawker here on the left. You just can't believe it. He's shattered.
Probably doesn't remember the 08 flag either.
Just unbelievable, isn't it, that they've fallen away as I said last year, you probably excuse it, but this year's just been lack of effort. That's the thing. Lack of effort tonight. That's the disappointing thing. If you're a Hawthorn supporter, you'd say they just haven't worked hard enough. And they leave too much to too few. You know, Bateman works hard, Hodge works hard, Mitchell's not there, of course, but Sewell just coming back to it. But gee, there's a lot of them who are getting a game of AFL football under false pretences.
Slip play by the Bombers. They work it back inside 50, and Hurley takes a good mark against Guerra. And Hurley can go back and kick his fourth.
This game was on the line at three-quarter time. Essendon have kicked 3-6 to nothing. The Hawks haven't scored in the final quarter.
And the next month for the Bombers, it's a huge one. The Power in form at 4-2 and the Bombers at 2-4. So it's a must-win for them. Then the Saints, Tigers, they should win. So 2 out of 4, you think the Bombers should win on form at the moment.
Beautiful kick from Hurley. He's got 4, and the Bombers are smashing the Hawks. How have you seen his game tonight, Matthew?
Oh, I think any time you go into a game as a key forward and you finish the night with 4 goals, you'd be extremely happy. He's had the 14 disposals, 5 marks, and Walsey spoke of him, you know, not looking himself, not looking happy. So this is a sensational return from Michael Hurley.
And there's the president, and he knows he's got a lot of hard work and probably a lot of explaining to do over the next week with this really poor performance. The last quarter, when the game was on the line at three-quarter time, there was some chance, but they haven't even scored.
Well, some winnable games to come. A trip to Perth for the Eagles and then Richmond. They could do with 2 wins and more. They could do with some confidence.
What do you do with Roughhead, Rob Walls?
Well, I wouldn't be against putting him in the reserves. Carlton did it with Thornton and Waite, and it just lets the whole group know that you're fair dinkum. He hasn't worked hard enough. He'll come off the ground. He could go out and play another 4 quarters of football, and that's really not acceptable.
Sewell won the clearance, gives it to Guerra. Welsh is down off the ball, getting up slowly, and a good mark taken by McVeigh.
And Quarters, you're the Hawks man up here, but there is one other Hawks man down on the boundary who I've not heard a word from for this last quarter.
He's been very quiet.
He has, Howie.
Mark Howard.
You still down there, Howie?
Yeah, just trying to make the best of a bad situation at the moment, boys. They'll come with the Hawks, don't worry. Possibly not tonight, though. That's cheap too, Lloyd. You've done 6 games and you're getting into it.
Hurley kicks to half forward. Gumbleton sets himself and takes a good one. Well, it's taken some time, but he's starting to repay the Bombers. And that's a nice pass too to Zaharakis.
Clinton Young was in a better position there, but the aggressor in the bodywork was David Zaharakis, and that contest has summed up this last quarter between Essendon and Hawthorn. One side's wanted it far more than the other.
Hawthorn still have not scored in the last term. So Zaharakis. It's a good-looking kick. Just veers off at the last second. 1 goal, 3 tonight for David Zaharakis.
Rob, it's hard to know where to start, is it? Because, you know, obviously Josh Gibson's not playing, but he's undersized as a backman. They're far too reliant on Franklin up forward, and the midfield has been heavily beaten in the ruck department. So from a recruiting point of view, they went for Burgoyne over Darren Jolly, but they've got holes in so many areas.
Well, they have, and yeah, Burgoyne, well, he's just had a wretched run. Gee, I just watched Bateman just put Prismal down. They've just got to be a little bit careful here. They don't get reported.
Training drills for Essendon at the moment. Running rings around Hawthorn. David Hill looking for Winderlick. Some things are just a little bit too ambitious. Campbell Brown taken over. There are 15 members of Hawthorn's premiership team out there tonight. 2/3 of the team. In fact, they won up with 20 men on that day, so 3/4 of the lineup.
Their backline really worries me. They just haven't got size with key defenders. They haven't got attacking players. Guerra is attacking, but Gee, the rest of them, all they do is hope they can hold their opponent. You don't get any run or dash out of there. They've been smashed in the clearances tonight. And as you say, unhealthy reliance on just one or two players up forward. Look, but other than all of that, their effort has been really substandard. And this was a big match. The build-up all through the week was really massive for both teams. One came out, had a real crack, the other didn't.
It was a big match. It is a big win to the Bombers. They've answered the critics in the only effective way with a 43-point win over Hawthorn.
Well, Dustin Fletcher, there was a massive build-up to this game and in turn a massive result for your footy club.
Yeah, it was. You know, the build-up's been pretty big. Essendon Hawthorn over the years has been massive, but yeah, nothing went on today. It was just head over the ball and we got the honours in there.
What do you make of the rivalry, mate? There's a lot of talk about it. The word hate comes out a fair bit. You've played in plenty of these games.